no sense. I might even put a question mark. No, that'd be bad. I'll just leave it as nothing. Right then, I'm ready when you are, big boy.
Interesting game from the start. So, hello everybody, and welcome to the second one of the semi-finals that we've cast. Actually, notably, the first semi-finals bracket that we did was over just so quickly. Devon straight through to the finals by half four. It was, I think. We're now seeing Talisman against Alastor, and Alastor, of course, being the person that put Jeslin out of the tournament.
Oh.
The first game that Jeslin played, put down by Alastor. And, Alastor's a good player, but we've just never really seen him on the competitive scene this high up. So could we be seeing, welcoming a new pro into the community? I certainly hope so. Both players launching straight into commanders. Literally the second the game started, they both picked these, Armored Assault and Ostrupen. So both players going in with a very, very specific and well-known build.
It's going to be good, to say the least. Of course, Armored Assault tactics. Oh look, they've got a new picture for the Sturmovik attacks. So the patching did accomplish something. It got a lovely picture on there now. It's got a lovely little radius sign. I didn't notice that before.
I believe that sign is when it's a loiter, not a strafe, so you can tell the difference on commanders, because it certainly caught me off guard once when they'd made a change to advanced warfare, and I was like, yeah, I'll just use this loiter plane, it was a strafe, and then I kind of went in with everything and lost. So it's like, yeah, unless you don't know it, it's nice that they've actually updated the bulletins so people are aware whether they're purchasing commanders or whatever. Now at least you know whether it does that or not, so it's good.
Okay, so the story of this game, by the way, is going to be, of course, that Talisman's Doctrine is very late game orientated, and Alastor is very early game orientated with the Ostrupen. He's gone for an odd 2 Ostrupen before MG. Quick retreat there as well, so he's very manpower savvy. Manpower savvy because he didn't want to lose a single model, even though it would have only cost him 16 apiece.
Yep.
MG is Dan just saying, yep, whilst he updates Moobot, he wasn't even listening or watching. Yup.
Sorry.
It's alright, you're doing God's work there, mate.
Yes, I mean, how do you think Ostrupen are going to fare here? Notice we've got double engineer build, double conscript, so obviously trying to make the best. You don't usually see, the tier 2 maxim play with Armored Assault, though. This is what has always been the kind of 4 conscript build.
Yeah,
with full upgrades.
I agree that I've heard you say that a few times, but I have seen Love Nest use it quite well. I see what you're saying though, because conscripts are very good at getting you there. Classically, that definitely was the case with Armored Assault, especially when it first hit.
But it's a great commander all round. Everything from the you know exactly why both players have flicked these commanders on immediately. And for the Allies, obviously the Soviets, they get the radio intercept, so they're able to know what units are on the field. And then Alastor obviously wanted to go Ostrupen, which you have to pick straight away to get the benefit out of that. So, it's totally explainable as to why both players have gone for these, and I think it's great, actually, that they've both gone for them straight away. It's a different style of game when both players do. It still can work without going for conscripts, obviously. Still a very good commander, provides pretty good benefits. It's just unusual.
It is unusual, so both players are going for an authoritative stamp on the game, trying to dictate the play. Here's a combat engineer with a flamethrower. That's helped to dictate the situation, pushing the Ostrupen from the garrison immediately. And Alastor's going to have to lick his wounds and take the central ground with this MG. A little bit vulnerable, though, especially with a flamethrower on the field.
Alastor's actually done really well in the start of the game. So obviously, probably in part to the fact that Talisman didn't bring too much onto the field at the start. 2 engineers, 2 conscripts, probably quite easy to put off by the Ostrupen. I like as well that we've got an early flamethrower squad and minesweeper squad. Not sure why the minesweeper squad has come out necessarily. So early, but having the flames to clear all the buildings and things like that, denying Ostrupen any chance of getting in cover and being successful there is really nice. And that both these players are playing very, very cautiously, and minesweepers on all squads already.
Wow, that's gonna stop the mine meta from really taking a hold on the game, because they're allowing for it straight away. Interesting with the mortar. It's smoked out the house. The MG's had to retreat. Great play there. It would have allowed the flamer to get right up into the windows, and that's pretty much given the house to Talisman. Very interesting.
I really, really like that, and it's a really, really great thing, because most people would, barrage the house and then try and work the flamethrower up. But of course, using smoke means you're going to get you're going to be able to clear it out quicker by attack grounding with the flames. So it's really good strategic play there. Really like that from Talisman.
Teaching us something new. I mean, not often I see that in auto match. I'm going to take that one to account. Get a Soviet mortar and you can dispel an MG from the center with just a flamethrower. Very interesting. Second mortar coming out as well for Talisman.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad idea, as long as he can keep control with the infantry that he's got. He only needs to hold an engagement, I think, against the Ostroupen and then allow the mortars to land on them. You know, they're quite squishy. They should take a lot of manpower hits and not make much progression onto Talisman's front lines.
Let's discuss the players. I mean, they've got the unenviable task of coming up against DevM should they win this. Of course, they will have access to €135 for getting second place, but trying to win an ESL Cup final is a big ask, and they're going to be up against the Portuguese man of war, DevM himself. So, big ask in the final.
Yeah, there's a lot to say for both players here, you know.
Yes.
One player's just taken out Barton, the other player took out Jezelin earlier. So, you know, it's they're both great players here, and being who they are, you know, Talisman was the newcomer to the scene, really, in terms of...
Do you remember the game against Helping Hands where we counted him out?
Yeah, I do remember that, and, you know, this is great to see of Alastor.
So, Helping Hands is somebody that can beat DevM. He's done it on many occasions recently, and Talisman knocked Helping Hands out of a tournament. So, there you go, Talisman is a contender, Alastor is a contender. This is a real semi-final, and it's very exciting to see new players here. Aerohank made a really good point in chat, saying that, of course, with... radio intercept, that's how the Soviet sweeper came about, because he would have seen the mine on the field that way. That's interesting. Ooh, MG42 in a spot of bother with the combat engineer. Licking flames through the windows, going to get in the garrison very quickly as well.
The sector has been cut off.
An aggressive situation indeed. Talisman's pushing at the north. We've got Alastor pushing the south. Flamethrowers are going to thwart that attempt though, and the triple cap, by the way, is still ticking against Talisman from Alastor.
By the way, I've just done a little check on obviously the time that mine was built, but it comes into my mind that it wasn't radio intercept tuned so that it didn't do that anymore.
I'm not sure on that one, mate.
I was under the impression that it was changed so that it no longer showed mine placement. I'll have to look at that one.
Yeah, but you'll still hear the mine like announcement, won't you? You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah, possibly for that.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry, you've had that confirmed. Only build, not position, from people in chat. Thank you, chat.
Good. No, that's good. That was kind of more what I was expecting. I hope that it didn't show where the mine was placed, because that's something that was,
oh, yeah, that'd be overpowered.
Taken away from that.
A lot of that coming in Heroes history. You used to be able to see what buildings are on the field by their silhouettes, etc. Panzer Grenadiers, this is a very familiar build, by the way, for Wehrmacht. This is not an experimental build. This is 3 Ostroupen, 1 MG, a sniper, and then the elite troops to help the DPS of the Wehrmacht infantry, and it's very familiar. You may have seen players such as Aspag, Nagano use this build, but the difference here is the 251 half track is now a Flammenwerfer. It's got 120 munitions invested in it. There is no AT on the field.
Yeah, that's a nice one, and of course he's going to be wanting to burn all of these units, all of the conscripts and maxims. No AT gun on the field, but a tier 3 is just going up.
What is though, Dan? One of your favourite things to talk about when you're casting? He's only got 2 conscripts. It's something you criticised of my play when I managed to
no
go...
AT grenade?
That's it, yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, it's
I watched that cast back, by the way, and you and Magpies said no 18 nades. It must have been about 30 times. But you were right, you weren't wrong.
I think in that game it was very apparent that could have saved you on a number of occasions. But I mean here, you know, I guess he's putting mines down at least, so there's some kind of drawback to it. That this particular unit does take a light arms fire as well, quite well, so you know it can at least be dealt with. But yeah, you know, see what comes there. In an early tier 3, we do have the T70 or the Su-76 available for purchase already, so they could get straight into this, and there's not really that much problem. T70 will be the weapon of choice.
So somebody's just said we're not seeing much US forces in ESL. Today we've seen them absolutely stomp players. DevM showing us just why they are one of the most aggressive factions in the game when played well. He beat his opponents in less than 10 minutes twice today as USF. So definitely a fixture. Sniper
there's a really nice kind of just natural thing in the community where I know from speaking to a lot of people, they're just like, no, this is all going to be Alastor and Soviets. You know, no one's really playing the other factions and whatever. But you know, DevM is just shows everybody like that USF is still such a capable faction.
He wrote the guide on it. They're so micro-orientated that some players don't have the panache to put it off. Von Ivan's a player that does pull off USF. In fact, he told us to believe in them, and DevM's reiterating that for us in EU here. Sniper out for Alastor, has it really made a mark yet, Dan?
Well, have a look at the kills, and at the moment, 15 kills. I mean, yeah, it's doing well. It's doing the manpower job it should be. You know, could it have been doing more? Perhaps, but I think considering he's been dealing with everything else, you know, Alastor's still taking a lot of good map control, despite being pushed back to his base at one point. You know, I think I think the sniper's doing very, very well, all things considered.
Also, a mine found in the south by the pioneers of the. Saw an interesting way of putting it in chat. USF are hardcore mode. That's an interesting way to put it. Ooh, mine goes off there, nearly kills the entire Panzer Grenadier squad. Gonna have to be a big retreat there. 3 models down. That's a big and hefty cost. I think 32 or 33 manpower per model there. So quite a lot just died, really. T-70 not actually done much yet. It's currently scanning for infantry.
Well, both the T-70 and the Flamer half-track, I mean, that's a pretty serious upgrade. There's 120 munitions spent on that, and it's done nothing. It has no kills.
Oh.
You know, it's just sitting back, and that's a huge investment to waste. You know, that could have been Panzerschrecks and the Panzer Grenadiers or something like that.
So 34 manpower, by the way, for the Panzer Grenadiers. So that one mine. 102 manpower overall, which is staggering, really, just for one mine. Oh! Big kill on retreat there, Dan! Was that
I saw it, I was watching it, yeah.
What squad was that? Ostrupen, I guess.
Ostrupen went down to the conscripts. Yeah, it was a very late retreat from Alastor. I don't really think he noticed it. But again, look at this. The Flamer half-track is just sitting there. I think Talisman tried to bait him by using Ulra to get in close to the Flamer half-track, but he doesn't actually have 18 aids teched. It's just the bluff. And of course, Alastor is now scared of taking an 18 aid whilst he doesn't have support there, so that bluff completely worked.
He does have 18 aids done, by the way, mate.
What? No, I just clicked. Oh, sorry, yeah, of course, they're activated on it.
Yeah, so that's alright. So we had the MG just about escape in the south there. Very interesting double engagements on 2 sides of the map. T-70 is really starting to show itself now, Dan. 4 kills and climbing. Dan, I'm disappointed in you. You don't have... Oh god, 18 nade opens up against the T-70, pushes that away. Looks like Ostrupen is lingering in the centre. He's already shown why that can be a dangerous thing to do before. But Dan, you haven't got the Red Wings thing on my Moobot, where you type exclamation Red Wings and it comes up with the party Red Wings, Sex Wings thing. Do you know what I'm on about?
In the spirit of keeping things professional where possible, I'd remove things like that.
Oh, okay, never mind. There you go, the Flammenwerfer finally opening up. It's got 1 kill. But it's opened up at least, it's done something.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. T-70 is going to come in here and probably push that off, and obviously there are Fausts from the Ostrupen at least. I don't know, I think Alastor seems to be losing grip of things a little bit now. Still very much in this game, still somehow on a VP lead.
That's so funny.
Triple capped at the moment.
Look at these Ostrupen getting mortared, by the way. They were behind the sandbag perfectly. The mortar comes in, kills the sandbag, does not inflict any damage upon them, and they stay behind the pretend sandbag. They don't move. It's just like, oh, there was a sandbag, and now there isn't. It's really funny.
24 kills in this sniper now, so the sniper really is doing work for Alastor. You've probably got to imagine that most of his micro is being focused on this unit, and that may account for some small you know, errors and what has led to lack of map control and stuff now. You know, he really has been putting a lot into that. Again, it's just looking like he's a little bit stretched. I also haven't really seen him commit to a direction, which as Austere is seems to be quite problematic, because the Soviets are going to be able to bounce left and right. They're going to be able to, you know, do multiple things very, very efficiently. And again, you know, look at this, how deep he's going on the left-hand side for the VP there. He's just walked straight into the T-70.
Oh.
Very lucky to get away with that one.
25 kills on the sniper. That's 500 manpower, so more than paid for the 360 cost. That's 500 manpower based on 20 reinforcement cost for a conscript. So, oh god, the T-70 down, opening up against the Panzer Grenadiers. He hasn't spotted it yet. Late retreat, one more shot from the T-70. Hits the fence, does not hit the squad on retreat, so there's the advantage of cover for you. It does come into effect even on retreat, doesn't it, cover, if you run behind it from a projectile?
Yeah, and there's also issues. This AT gun just set up in a position where it looked like it had a sight blocker. It's definitely got a shot blocker because it fired one shot and it ended up hitting the fence. There we go, nice that it's moved around. Should be able to get some shots on the T-70. Unfortunate miss. But yeah, I mean, Alastor, you know, now he's going to the left-hand side. Previously it was the right, so, you know, whilst he's bouncing out on this side, he's got to stick to it, I think. I really think he's got to put something there that is going to last out for a longer time. If he decides to suddenly change and go to the right-hand side again, then, you know, it's just another opportunity for Talisman to sweep and steal more VPs off of him.
But this game is the pretty much the antithesis of the DevM games, because DevM went for the jugular. This game's a bit more posticulated, a bit more probing, a bit more jabby rather than haymaker into your face in the first round. So we're in for possibly a bit more of a 30-40 minute contest here, where we really get to see some late game utilities. The player that has the commander choice for that is, of course, Talisman. He has the IS-2, and of course, if he gets tier 4, he has the T-34-85s. So how would Alastor deal with that?
He wouldn't.
he would die. This kills the Alastor.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, let's have a look at what he's doing at the moment tech-wise. He's going up to Battle Phase 2. Possibly could benefit from going up to Battle Phase 3. I think he probably knows perhaps the commander he's up against. It's a difficult one, you know, you may have seen. I'm just trying to think what the other commander pick was, but the other ones had obvious telltale signs.
Yeah.
You know, this one, he hasn't really given it away. You know, as I said before, normally I at least would always associate this with like a 4 cons build. It just seems to work very well. You know, so the fact that he's gone for the Maxims may kind of put a false sense of security in there.
Yeah.
But I do think tier 4 is a good option. It seems to be a very good option for dealing with late game Soviet
You know,
tanks.
we said that about the Ostrupen, that I always expect Panthers with Ostrupen, like a tier 4 build. But Loveness, do you remember that when he beat Jove in that game 2 before he got crippled by the artillery cover in game 3? In game 2 he got 6 vehicles from tier 3. It was 3 Panzer IVs, an Ostwind and 2 Stugs. It was unreal, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really, really good, and that was probably more a measure over quantity over quality, if you know what I mean. Which did work, of course, but you know, in that game, I think there was a weird playstyle. You know, we were seeing the KV2, we were seeing Industry played in weird and wonderful ways. But I think you know, the majority of the time, you know, Ostrupen, they do perform really well with a tier 4 build. We may be seeing this infantry.
Oh god, we've just had 2 anti-tank grenades going in unison on the 251 half track. The T-70 is going past the Pack 40, finds the mark. Great, absolutely great play from Talisman there. And the Pack 40 is under duress from the Maxim and the conscripts and getting pushed away. That was beautiful, and that's why you need 18As.
Yeah, I mean, that was very, very fluent. The whole of that engagement just seemed to glide in favor of Talisman. 2 great 18 aids in. The T-70 it just seemed like it was following the road round and this beautiful pathing for the flank there. And he gets away with killing the Flamer half-track. Why was that Flamer half-track built? I mean, it really didn't do that much. I couldn't really foresee it destroying that many things. It's not a heavy, you know, building map or anything.
Well, no, maybe for that central garrison to push away from there. If you play cautiously with it overall, over the duration of a game, it would add up. But oh god, the Ostrupen on retreat possibly. Flames licking it, it's behind as they run away. Oh, it died to a Mosin Nagat fire from max range. The sniper did get a stun round in, but it was a millisecond too slow. And now the Panzer Grenadier itself is getting pushed away. What's this building, Dan, for Talisman?
Building for Talisman we have got. Oh, I didn't see what that was. Looks like a T-34-85, yes. I'm just having a look. Right now we see Alastor's going up to Battle Phase 3. I think that's the correct thing to do. Of course, Talisman's going to have a huge advantage in this lull in fuel supply and stuff that Alastor has had. Means he's probably not going to be able to get a counter on the field for quite some time. He's also manpower pushed now as well, so he's got to think about reinforcing stuff alongside saving for the Panther. It's looking in a very difficult spot for him. Could possibly go with some Talimines right now. He has got one AT gun, but I don't think that's going to be enough to put up with an 85 and a T-70.
No, it's not going to be enough. One AT gun, as we've seen, can be very quickly moved past and countered. He's got a lot of work to do here. He's got a lot of fuel though, Dan, so he's got that going for him at least.
Yeah, I mean, the fuel is good. I mean, he's still actually yet to build the Battle Phase 3 building, you know, the Tier 4, but, you know, it's mainly the manpower, I think, especially the way that he's still treating his units on the field at the moment. He's still trying to make aggressive plays, which means he's probably going to end up having to pull back and reinforce, and it's going to drag it on a little bit. He may find that pulling everything over to one side and just waiting patiently for a bit will allow him to get the Panther on the field a bit quicker.
Oh no, here we go. He's got Panzer Shreks on his Panzer Grenadiers, so at least he has that going for him in his quest to stay in this game against Talisman. T-34-85 doing its best to vanquish these Ostrupen, keep the victory point situation in actually Talisman's control now, Dan. He's pushed ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the triple caps have been so fast on these now. Now he's starting to lock down the sectors. Nice pickup of that.
Yeah. The Shreks did most of that work. The Shreks got like a 2-man kill on the Maxim, and then the snipers came in out of nowhere and demolished it.
Yeah, it looked like a late retreat from here, because...
Well, isn't it true with the Maxim though? If you get one man and the gunner's died, you are stuffed. Because every man is like, Ever pick up the Maxim! I am dead! You pick up the Maxim! No, I am dead! That kind
it
of...
kind of is, yeah. I always feel if they're retreating, you don't always hit the one with the gunner. But I think if it's set up, you normally hit the gunner first, and then, yeah, it becomes a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy that that guy's always going to die that picks up the gun. Very difficult to get out of it.
It's kind of self-balancing, that bug, though, if it is indeed a bug. Because obviously the Maxim is powerful in a lot of ways, especially with aim to fire. So, yeah, it's kind of... I don't mind that bug that much. It's kind of a disadvantage of Maxims, despite all of their...
It's nice that it kind of reinforces the fact you should be using them as support weapons, not on their own. As
yes,
like,
I agree. Oh, Pack 40 finds the... Go on, the T-70 manages to repair itself, even though it's got a 3-man crew, whilst reversing. Incredible engineering from the Soviets. You know how we're reversing 40 miles per hour along a road? Can you get your blowtorch out and repair our tank whilst we're travelling, please? No problem. Yeah. I do.
Whilst one guy hangs out of the top and gives recon.
Yes! Multi-talented tankers, I tell you. This T-34-85 has been a bit of a menace. Not many kills so far. It's more about the pushing away of units. Always in high-level games. The retreats come that fast when they see a tank such as the T-34-85. It's more about lost ground and positioning is the advantage they give, even if they're not a shock unit in themselves.
Yeah, we do of course have access to the IL-2 Sturmovik attacks now, and a loiter outside the base of Alastor right now could be brutal. It would allow T-70 and T-34-85 to go in. There's a huge infantry push coming in through the center at the moment as well.
Oh my god, let's have a look.
Could be a great time for it.
Massive suppression dealt from the MG42, however.
Yeah, and the Panzer Shrek's just connected with the T-70.
Dan, it's 2013 again. We've got skill planes over the fields of Famenville approach. The big Sturmovik attack, the one with the loiter symbol hovering over it, you may now notice. 180 munitions means that this T-34-85 is going to go on a field day spotting for it and trying to get some big material advantages on the field.
I kind of think that could be used better, but it still does cover into the base, so it is actually still doing its purpose. It would have been nice to have seen that used closer to the strategic point, so it did actually cover all areas of the base. Of course, T-70, if it didn't take the double Shrek hit that it did, could possibly be going in around the back right now, providing recon for that. You know, as you see at the moment, the T-34-85 is to fill in that role.
Yes.
But actually, wait, Alastor's going back in with the infantry. That's not a good idea.
Pushing south away from the loiter circle. I think that's his idea. Looks like it may have finished actually now. That's okay. He can breathe once more. When's this tech coming up, Dan? When's he going to get something out?
Well, he has got the tier 4 up, but he's got to wait. He's got 4 fuel off of the Panther and 100 manpower. So it is coming. It is still the chance that he needs to get back into the game. Double snipers as well now, so it looks like he's going to want to try and take down some of this huge manpower that Talisman's floating at the moment. IS-2 has just become available and hit 230 fuel dead on.
Oh, time to perfection.
Yeah, that really was.
122mm cannon. Brutal. Cast iron bitch is on the field. The IS-2, the Joseph Stalin tank. It's a wondrous creation of brutal Soviet engineering, and the Wehrmacht fear it greatly, and here it is.
Yeah, and it's really nice to see both the T-34-85 and the IS-2 on the field again, because obviously we previously only used to see these when they were both tied together as call-ins in the doctrine. Now, of course, you're actually required to build Tier 4, so yeah, it is really nice to see that.
Good balance as well. Oh, T-70's in a difficult position. The PaK-40 did find it, and there you go. That's a big unit to loss with that veterancy.
Yeah, it's a shame because obviously Vet 3, you want to be using the scout mode on that. Very, very useful.
T-34-85 doing its best to push away the MG-42. The Panzer Grenadiers are going to have something to say about that, though. Going to try and find some armor targets of their own. Talisman is pretty much putting the noose down on Alastor here. He's got this Maxim in the north. He's keeping the center with a Vet 3, count it down, a Vet 3 mortar, and the T-34-85. And then in the west, as you've seen, the IS-2 has now got its pintle mount, and it's ready to cause some agony for Alastor's forces. But Dan, what does he have building?
Well, it's not what he has building, it's what he has on the field. It is the Panther, perfectly capable of dealing with the IS-2. Probably the best thing that you'd have access to dealing with the IS-2 aside from the AT guns. We do see one of the AT guns now connecting with the T-34-85. I wonder if he's going to use the... He doesn't use the target weak point. I found that really strange. Obviously, if he'd used the target weak point, the Panther could have got up there in time, and he has double Shreks on Vet 3 there. Not that the veterancy matters for anything, but it's, you know, they would have given him an opportunity to go and take down the IS-2 there.
Well, it only requires like the one man that's been. It depends how many reinforcements they've had. But here we go. We've got a big confrontation here. We've got possible Faust coming in from the Ostrip. We've got the Panther coming to bear on the IS-2. A little bit momentarily lag here. Hopefully it catches up. There it goes. Catches up. IS-2 is under duress. You've got the Panzer Shreks coming into fire. You've got the PaK-40 finding the rear armour of the IS-2. Will the Ostripen be able to get a Panzer Faust off? And no, they didn't, which means the IS-2 is still alive, Dan.
Yeah, again, that was a shame. If he'd used the target weak point there, he would have been able to stun the IS-2, and that would have been a dead certain kill at that point. You know, Alastor's starting to come back into this game now. He really could have capitalized on that, and unfortunately he didn't. Again, he's really missing a trick. You know, this is one of the best things about the Oster AT gun is the access to this target weak point, and the ability to stun the tank, keep it there. With the Panther had pretty much no competition.
By the way, did you get the lag then, or was that just my side?
I think it was your side, because you also stopped talking during the engagement.
Oh wow, okay. Thanks, Virgin Internet, I guess. No, Sky I'm on, okay. It can happen to the best of us, though. I think that'll be fine. We've got a scout car coming out for Alastor. Do you know what that's for, Dan? I've got an idea.
Go on.
It's to kill the Sturmovix. Yeah, kill the Sturmovix. They're really good anti-air. CS taught me that, actually. CS, I've got a shout out to him. He's the one that showed me that that was the way to get rid of them if you couldn't afford an Oshvind, or didn't have tier 3 rather.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been noted that pretty much all the factions do have access to anti-air. Still things that you just have to figure out, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's got a good firing cannon. It's quick as well, so it probably, arguably, could be better than the Ostwind in some respects, especially if you were to build 2 of them and use those for anti-air above the Ostwind, because you know the rate of fire is much better.
So yeah, get a 444 out.
Terrible.
Ostrupen doing great work against the conscripts there, but here comes the IS-2, and that's going to have a thing or two to say about it. Panther can pick away at the IS-2, kaplunk on its frontal armour.
How good is it, by the way, that Alastor is starting to get back in this? He's got, like, I keep saying this, and I know it's not really applicable, but you know, he is keeping the veterancy of his unit. I mean,
it doesn't matter, mate. For snipers, for MGs, if they can stay alive, you only need 1 unit with that's the gunner or something. Oh, we've got Katusha on the field, attacking the snipers. Big play from Talisman. He's going to push away. Oh god, that was an Ostrupen that just died, was it not?
Yeah, it was an Ostrupen that went down on the retreat, but the snipers managed to get away. I think he possibly heard that, you know, in advance and got away from it. The Katusha is going to be pretty good, you know, to go here and start pulling some of the territory back. But it looks like Talisman's possibly feeling a little bit unconfident about going in with the T-34 and the IS-2 together at the moment. And it's partly probably, you know, we've got the AT gun, we've got the Panther, we've got the Shreks. These are the kind of mistakes that Talisman needs to take advantage of. You know, that IS-2 going on the right-hand side to get the Panzer Grenadiers Alastor, sorry, has to keep those kind of things alive. That's really one of the things that is holding off Talisman's forces at the moment. There's a last little bit of tech now before both players become pop capped, and I think that that last thing is going to be quite influential on how this game goes, because they seem to be in a bit of a stalemate at the moment.
It really is.
I get the impression that Talisman may want to invest in something like an AT gun.
So of course we're getting into that late game stage now, the 30-minute mark, where pop caps are becoming full. So even though if it might have been a posticulating, a probing game up to this point, when those pop caps become full, all of their resources are then getting banked, so they can afford to make big push, big plays, big all-in maneuvers, and go for it. So for Talisman that would involve the Sturmovik, for Alastor it would involve the railway artillery, and both are banking munitions as well. So exciting times ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I would say Talisman definitely has the advantage in Commander and off-map here, because he's going to be much better off having the Sturmovik plane come in, and then obviously whilst Alastor is forced to move all of his army aside, he'll be able to roll in with these tanks. It's going to put a lot of pressure on him, whereas the railway artillery, the spread of it is... it's easy to get away from, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I can deny a certain area, and the first shot is always on target, so if you pick on an MG or a PAT, you can, get some plays done. Oh god, this Katyusha's really starting to be a bit of a menace for Alastor. We've got it on now. Only 4 kills, but every one of those counts. Did utilise something, killed an Ostrip and pushed another unit away. 34-85 coming to bear on the Panther. The Pack 40 isn't quite in position right now. Go on, Dan, call it. Who do you reckon's going to win?
I'm actually half and half. I mean, Talisman's obviously playing really well, has the VP lead, so I would, at this point, say Talisman. However, Alastor, I would have said that this game would have been over ages ago, but Alastor has come back from it. So I think, he's getting to this point now where he can start playing confidently. I would say, Sturmovik's just been called in. This may be a waste. This may be a waste of use. Could have been coincided with a push there, but instead he's just used...
This Katyusha then, maybe he's got the Katyusha ready. No, he hasn't. Oh.
No, the Katyusha didn't fire. It's still on a recharge. I mean, he could be rushing a bit better with these. In fact, now the ability isn't really going to be doing anything.
Especially if the scout car can manage to take it out. There it goes, plinking on it, but the IS-2's here. Going to try and get rid of the scout car and allow the Sturmoviks to have free reign. Pat 40's got something to say about that, though. Pushes away the IS-2. Talisman maintaining victory point control. It's not looking too great for Alastor. Now he's getting penned into his base. He's going to have to again push through the south because the middle ground is occupied by flying tanks. That was the nickname the Soviets gave the Sturmoviks. They had such armor, they were able to fly low over the battlefield and take a beating and fly back with their wings battered, their engines torn, and they just didn't go down, and that's why they were christened the Flying Tank. Great casualties claimed on the steppe, pushing the Germans back to Germany. Must be noted right now, Alastor does not have his munitions point because Talisman is in the central ground. He does, however, have his fuel, but for how long? Looks like a combat engineer's gone. Oh god, we've got Katyusha coming in. Big target on the snipers.
Nearly got him, but Alastor is still really good on the retreats, actually. He's judging that quite well every time. Seems like he's really got an ear for when the Katyusha fires. Nice to see. I get the feeling he's probably going to be a little bit stuck here now. He's actually got a pretty decent, loadout at the moment. He's got the Panther, the scout car, tons of infantry, double snipers. He's got everything he needs to start making a pushback, but he needs to do it now. We're now seeing the Su-85 come up as well, so this is going to be the end of the Panther, really. Probably got a limited window, perhaps, to make this work.
Yes, if he wants to push and take out one of these big Soviet tanks, he's got a limited window. You're damn right in what you say there. Otherwise, another Pack 40 is going to be necessary, or another Panther. He does have a lot of fuel. So he's got options from here. Obviously, pop cap's not in his favour if he wants another Panther. IS-2 goes in, crew shocks the Panther, keeps that paralysed for now. Talisman's just pushing his opponent back.
Yeah, just broken the 100 VPs on a triple drain, so unless you can cap a VP, just over a minute and a half of gameplay left. Huge pressure, and again, you know, Alastor now forced to go onto the right-hand side of the map. That's one thing that Talisman has done really well, I would say, is constantly bouncing his opponent left to right. It just makes them weak. It makes the Austere faction weak when they're having to reconstruct everything. You know, part of what they're about is having these great you know, defensive positions. You know, get everything lined up with the AT guns, make sure target weak point can go on, going with the infantry. But of course, once you have to keep rearranging all those support weapons, the faction becomes weaker, and the Soviets are absolutely great at going left to right like that. You know, they can get there quickly. They're flexible when they get there. They arrive. They arrive in style. It's great.
Back on the battlefield, we've got Alastor's managed to take the northern victory point, but he loses the central engagement. We've got a big Katyusha barrage going on the snipers. Full retreat necessary. MG taken out and the weapon taken out. Ostrupen just died itself. Even the Panther's taken a battering from the Stalin organ. Not looking too great, as Dan rightly says, and his points on Wehrmacht's been you know, can succumb to indirect fire is a big one. Here comes the Panther. This is the last gasp effort for Alastor. We've also had rail artillery go in the north, try and keep that, but the conscripts dodged it. Looks like the Panther's been brutalised. It looks like the Panzer Grenadiers with the Panzer Strikes are having to retreat. T-34-85 going into position.
Oh! A ram! Look at how much health that Panther has right now.
Got a slither of health. The ram nearly destroyed it. So rare you see a ram, Dan.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think there was a risk. You know, he could have just driven in and done that, but I think it's a timing thing. You know, he probably wanted to try and get hold of that. But another Panther's on the field now.
Do you know, Dan? If this was happening in October, I would have said it's so rare to see a ram dam, especially in Ramadan. That's what, sorry. We've got Sturmovic's coming in. Oh, the Vet 3 pack is in jeopardy right now. He's getting line of sight with the combat engineer, pushing him away. Snipers try the hardest to kill the engineer on retreat, but it's not looking good for Alastor right now. Triple cap engaged. We've got a scant half a minute of gameplay left.
To be honest, this has to be it. There's 20 seconds of the game left. I think if him to even go over to the VP doesn't have time for it now. So good game to Talisman. A slow game, a steady game, definitely. But
is he going to leave himself susceptible to the Portuguese aggressor in the final if he tries to have this slow, probing approach?
Yeah, do you know what? It's it'd be nice because they're two different play styles. The Talisman's played quite defensively, I would say, whereas Devon would play extremely aggressively. So it'd be interesting to see who would win out of those two. But Talisman didn't really make any mistakes there, which was nice.
325 victory points remaining for Talisman. Mark him down. But he didn't make any mistakes. I can't think of a single one. I really can't.
No, I honestly didn't see any. Not in build order. Maybe the T-70, that was the only thing when he took his eyes off of that, but it really meant nothing in terms of you know, how it affected the game. Everything from build order, you know, taking up tier 3, tier 4, straight. He landed on the IS-2 perfectly as it unlocked. Yeah, absolutely perfectly. So whether he was planning for that or that was coincidence, I don't know, but it was like bang on when he unlocked that. So he did really well there. And again, you know, the same issue is kind of, I think, what made Alastor lose, which was this Flamer half-track. Huge investment.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he upgraded it to flamethrowers. He then lost the ability to reinforce his Ostrupen on the field, which is what we assumed he was building it for at first. And then it sat there and did nothing for loads of the game. 120 munitions there that could have gone onto the Shreks earlier, or LMGs for the Grens. So, you know, it's that's unfortunate there.
Could have gone a lot better. He did well. You know, he showed why he's gotten to this stage of the tournament, but he didn't do well enough to cope with a player that's, you know, of Talisman's caliber, because Talisman is a big player. I might go and have a drink now. I'm just going to restart my computer. 1 second. I hope you've got plenty of ammunition for chat. Maybe you can do some t-shirt colour changes for them. Keep them entertained.
I can't now because I've got my light on, so it's going to start green screening that.
Oh, you're kidding. No, it's working well, mate. Black to blue, that was good. Try again. Let's go back to...
Oh, wait a second. Probably fix the...
I mean, this is what we're really here for, to be honest.
There you go.
It does work. There you go.
It's the green, actually. We want the green. Oh, yeah, actually, green works better now. Wait. I actually quite like it in green. I might see if I can get a green one.
Oh dear God, yeah. Tell ESL to change their branding. I'm with you. I'm with you. Let's restart Company Heroes. Get my RAM back. Even though I've got 16 gigs, it will get swallowed up om nom nom by the hungry program that is Company Heroes 2. And for each bit it eats, it doesn't give a bit back. It's just nice.
Barton that keeps on giving.
We're not going to be able to host GG today because the tournament's going too fast. So if you've got friends that usually wait till the finals to watch ESL, get them in on the stream right now because we're probably heading to the DevM, what looks like Talisman final very shortly. Don't actually know if that was game 1 or 2, do we? Do we think it's likely game 2? Do we? Because we didn't actually know. We watched the first semi-final in its entirety. Oh no, we didn't because DevM beat one of the players too quickly. And then we watched
I don't
it.
know, but I can ask if you want.
Yes, please. Let's get that sorted. I'll update the brackets in the meantime, see if it's on the brackets. Not quite on the brackets yet. Got co-open. Let me go on live game, see if there's one in progress.
Oh, so that was game 1 that they just played.
Ah,
They're
yes,
now
we've got 1
3
minute.
minutes into game 2.
Yes, 4 minutes in. I'm going to get you in our party. Here we go, mate. Ah, it's all working beautifully. We're on time in this tournament. We actually know what we're doing. It's only taken us 9 weeks.
FG12, yes, there will be. Right, okay, let's go. You sent me an invite?
I am about to send you a little invite, Aurelio. There you go. Oh, you're in.
I'm in before you get invited me.
Wow, you're so pro. I can't believe you did that. That was amazing.
Yeah. Old invite, don't worry.
Let's just check the profiles because that's what we have to do nowadays. Yep, Talisman's got his gif of everything's getting smashed up, so let's watch the game.
Oh.
I'm really enjoying ESL today. It's an interesting tournament day. You know,
yeah, it's a little weird though, not having all of the kind of elite players in here as well. You know, so the ones that we have had have all been smashed out by the newcomers.
It's so this semi-final is not by any means any big names. I mean, Talisman is a name, but it's not a big name. So I see what you're saying. Jesulin and Jove getting knocked out. Devem's pretty much the only big name left standing, and he's in the final waiting for one of these two competitors, Alastor or Talisman. So it's very interesting indeed. 1 minute of delay.
I'm trying to look at as well. We don't know what faction Alastor had when he played against Jesulin earlier and put Jesulin out of the tournament. But I was trying to see last game. You know, what was he playing and how could it have beaten Jesulin?
Yep.
And hopefully we get to see that from the allies this time. You know, Talisman's a good opponent, but definitely not unbeatable.
So the score is now 1-0 to Talisman. Good, my overlay works. And here we go. We are in Game 2 of the semi-final between Alastor and Talisman. Alastor's Wehrmacht did not come up trumps against Talisman's Soviet forces. I'm here with Dan. And what do you make of that first game, Dan? I mean, what does Alastor need to do to get a win in Game 2?
Well, the first game was really good, and Alastor was showing some really good game power. He got back into the game after nearly being put back into his base. You know, he lost a lot in the mid game, and I think it came down to teching problems. Complete waste of a flamer half track with Ostrupen. Not there's really nothing to burn. Lost the ability to reinforce the Ostrupen on the field. So I really felt like that was the pivotal moment that it started to go wrong for him. Other than that, I thought he played really, really well. Seemed like he lost it a little bit towards the end. So hopefully this time, he's playing as the Soviets. He can manipulate something else to his advantage.
Okay, let's talk about commander choices in this very early capping period. For Talisman, we've got Scavenge Doctrine. That's Jaegers and Ostwind, of course. He could also go Special Operations, so certainly no MG34s in sight. That's Panther. And oh, there you go, Luftwaffe Ground Forces. There's the MG34 option. I mistook the player portrait. What have you got for Alastor, Dan?
Well, Alastor, we've got Partisans. Is that Tank Hunter? No, Lend-Lease. Phew, thank God. Sorry, I genuinely got those ones mixed up. Lend-Lease, which of course is a really nice commander as well. And of course, Shock Rifle is still always going to be the meta commander, isn't it, really?
Yes.
It's very, very beneficial. It provides you with near enough everything that you need. So, You know, good loadouts there. Partisans, we saw Barton play Partisans on this map. It worked really well with the tier 4. Katusha's created loads of medium cover on the map. Partisans basically invisible for the entire game. It was really, really nice to see that then. So, you know, it can work here, even though it usually requires, you know, more building spawnable locations. You know, it's interesting. I have a feeling we'll probably see Lend-Lease or Shock Rifle, though.
Here we go, got more conscripts going on the field, so he's gone for 2 conscripts, 1 Maxim right now. Alastor has got options at this point, how he can diversify his build based on what he sees. Talisman himself's getting his first SWS truck up. What do you reckon, battle group or early mechanized?
I think he will do the standard, which is mechanized first into the Lukes. I mean, he's already seen the Maxim, he's probably assuming it's going to be more than one. Rush for the Lukes with mechanized, then go back down to battle grouper. The potential then, depending on map control, is to go straight into special operations, and then you don't have to build tier 4. You can just get the Panther out later on. So this is quite a nice build, to be honest, if you do that and go with that one. We'll see what happens though. He's putting it down now. Oh, it's the battle grouper, so none of the above.
It made me think of a Rage Against Machine lyric then when you said none of the above. Fucking cut the cord. Lights out, guerrilla radio.
Yeah, I mean, but the battle grouper one's good too. I mean, I don't know the familiar builds for this, to be honest. If we go battle grouper first, it's gonna be nice, maybe heavy on the infantry. It's weird that he's gone straight for that though. You know, he hasn't gone 3 Volks and into that. You know, the Kubel, 2 Volks Grenadiers.
Well, he's got options with ISGs, mate. ISGs are good on this map. You can never discount them.
He's going to have the resources
oh,
for it pretty quickly.
Brutal hit from the SGGs from the Stern Pioneers there, wiping Combat Engineer. We've also had a Kubel go down in the south. There you go, that was a conscript with the anti-tank grenade already teched. So 2 losses there, one of the Kubel and one of the Combat Engineer, so pretty much counteracting each other.
Yeah, a little bit more manpower taken away from the engineers that died, but again, great capping power taken by the Kubel dying, so I would say that's a pretty equal trade-off.
Yeah, you can't get much more equal than that really, unless it was a Pioneer and a Combat Engineer perhaps. The conscript's now going to push for the fuel. There's not much to intercept except for the Stern Pioneers, which also have the combat package, so they're sweeping for mines. Have you seen any yet, Dan?
I haven't, no. I can have a quick look on the match stats quickly, see if anything's been constructed. Nope, no mines yet.
Getting pushed away there. In the sense, you got the conscripts capping the victory points. He's got obviously his 2 Maxims, not much else right now. He's just harbouring a little bit of, yeah, there you go. He's had to spend a bit of his manpower. Don't want to float against Talisman. He'll punish you for it.
I'm really interested to see, because obviously this ISG is very, very early. I mean, you look at the field composition for Talisman right now, who is actually going for the 3rd squad of Volks Grenadiers now, which is nice. Early ISG, you know, is it going to be that effective against these 2 Maxims? And arguably, you know, it's just the 2 Maxims. It's not a Maxim spam. There's going to be 3 conscripts on top of this now. So
the reason why it isn't, Dan, is because they're not very good against garrisons, are they? So he's gotten out of the garrison, Alastor. I don't know why though, because you can stay in a garrison with a Maxim, take 10 shots from an ISG and not even suffer for it. I know I nearly said shits. You can take 10 shits from an ISG and come out smiling. So yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see why that is. He could, as you say, stayed in the building. That would have been a good one, but yeah, difficult. I think the ISG, you know, maybe Alastor will have a little bit of an advantage here in the fact that it seemed like Talisman is preparing for a Maxim spam. In fact, his army is going to be a little bit more flexible than that.
Yeah, 3 conscripts, so it's a little bit more of a flexible option with regards to the Maxim, so he can do a little bit more capping. And you're seeing that in Alastor's map control. 3 victory points, 2 fuel points. The Maxim is currently helping to protect that fuel point just there, so there we go.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because the ISG coming out so early, you are basically saying that you will sacrifice map control for a little bit of an advantage to deal with these MGs, but of course this is just not the issue. So maybe a return in teching error. We'll see if Talisman makes anything of this, but at this stage I would probably say that it's not a favourable tech up.
You've got Folks Grenadiers finally going north to cap a victory point. They've got to do it sooner rather than later, and Talisman knows it.
On the left, by the way.
Yeah, I've got them on my camera right now. We've got the MG34 from the Luftwaffe smashing them on retreat. They're about to get out to the cone of fire. Big switch there. Will the MG set up? It's going to be difficult. Close one. There you go. It's starting to fire. Oh, nearly gunning them down on retreat, Dan. So close for Alastor there, but he kept that 240 manpower squad alive. The whisker of health remaining. Preemptive incendiary grenade goes in on this conscript, leaving him with little health. They're going to have to get pushed away before the Car 98s destroy them on retreat. What an incendiary grenade, Dan! That's how you use those things. Oh!
Wow.
I mean, that was really cool. For 30 munitions, he preempted the conscript's position, and you just saw how that worked. The health absolutely dissipated, and the car rifles pushed them off, killed them on retreat. Epic. And that means Alastor's now gone for shock rifle frontline tactics. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a sensible choice, to be honest. I'm wondering if now that we've seen the battle grouper go up, we can expect to see a tier 4, perhaps some Orbital Darton, to deal with the shocks. Obviously, we don't have the Lukes for that now. Shock troops may have some good effect on the field. The MG's going to be in a pretty stacked position, I imagine, covering the left. But that may not move. It may be a good opportunity for shocks. But, well, I don't know. Again, it's an open map, so it could go either way. 2 ISGs, though. What do you think of that one?
2 ISGs pretty good. They can start stacking, start getting hits here and there. But the bigger picture is, to be honest, he's gotten squad kills, so they can really start stacking. But he's got to protect himself against any T70 rushes. So he's got 1 Shrek, but he needs more.
I think Alastor's going to be a little bit upset on the left-hand side there. Tried to get the engineers to take cover on one side of the fence and then flame into the building, but actually 2 of the squad members were forced into a runaround, which meant that they were basically glued into the incendiary for a while, and he had to retreat. ISGs are actually doing a surprising amount of damage to all of the units that Alastor has.
Yeah, they haven't got many kills, but what they're doing is a lot of health damage. So it's an interesting build, and you were expecting mechanized, I was expecting mechanized, the chat was expecting mechanized, and so was Alastor. But no, he went for 2 ISGs, very interesting.
Yeah, I wonder on that point though, you know, this isn't an overly aggressive build. In fact, Talisman's actually now getting to the point where he does have, you know, equal presence on the field, but you know, it's a nice support build. I think Alastor maybe has missed an opportunity to take advantage of what was a very, very slow and lacking start game as OKW. That opportunity, of course, is now gone by the fact that we have Vals, 3 Volks Grenadiers and 2 ISGs on the field with the aid of an MG gun. You know, these Maxims are going to have a hard time. Just look at the retreat there.
There you go, that's pushing the trolley. Everyone has to pick it up. The Volks Grenadiers are there to pick up the weapon itself. Fallschirmjäger, great pop from Talisman.
Yeah, I get it, you know. Have you ever seen Fallschirmjäger pop from that building before?
I've definitely seen Partisan tank hunters do it before, to kill a vehicle on retreat. And I think I may have seen Fallschirms do it once for a Panzerfaust, yes. But it's not very often you see it. It's an interesting one. Hey, Joe, it's a good map for garrisons really far back like that. That new Lost Glider map. Have you played on that yet?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, it's got a lot of garrisons, very interesting map. For people asking what the score is, it is on the UI of the screen you're watching, so that could help you if you were being a little bit inquisitive. Not salty at all. Fallschirmjägers, we've got Stern Pioneers, we've got a lot of DPS from Talisman, and Alastor's suffering right now. He's going to have to resort, Dan, to a very strange option. It's the M5 with most likely the quad mount, because it does indeed.
I think it's equally as effective as a T70 to some degree. I mean, the suppression you get, you know, when units start to get the Panzer Shreks on, the good thing about the half-track is it can suppress outside the range that the Shreks can fire back. So I would say, you know, arguably with what he's got in the shock troops, he can suppress, run in with the shock troops. Might be a nice combination.
Yeah, it might be a nice combination, but he's got a lot of work to do because although he had early game dominance, he's had a few squad wipes here and there that have really pipped it in Talisman's favour, so he's got a lot of work to do.
But that second forward truck coming out now, so I wonder what that one's going to turn into. I'd hope it's tier 4, and it's probably going to go to cover that fuel point on the right, isn't it?
Oh, flare went off, a little bit of power attack next to the Volks Grenadier dying. Panzer Shrek pushes away the M5. You got a facepalm moment off camera there for Dan. What are you facepalming at, Dan?
Nothing. I just Talisman's basically just surprising me every opportunity. The second I say that one of his units is going to go somewhere, he just starts driving the other direction.
I'm with you.
So
I'm with
really
you.
like he's been really unpredictable with this.
I
But
like
I do
Talisman.
like his build. I do like his build right now, and it's clearly working for him. Which
It's
is
one of
nice.
those players you can learn from by watching him, because we've seen all the other players a lot more than him. So by watching him, we can learn something. Shocknade doesn't actually find anything there. The shock troopers are just being picked off by the focus grenadiers from a distance here, and the ISG's coming into bear as well. So there you go. That's how to play against shock troopers. You pick two angles, you diversify, and then you try and kill them. And they actually ran through an incendiary grenade there and lost a model. Alastor's reclaiming the northern victory point. He's reclaiming the central one. He's got a nice demo on the middle garrison there. He's got his M5 in an interesting position. So he can start to solidify himself again now, Dom.
Yeah, I mean he did this last game. You know, he had a bit of a weird entry into the mid game where he lost a lot of map control and was struggling in my opinion. You know, with the AA half track, do you think this is the same teching mistake that he had in the previous game, or are you kind of on par with what I said earlier?
No, no, no. The AA half track's good when used properly, especially now he's got mines to protect it. And he's also now just built a Zis gun. So now the AA half track's got like a protective barrier around it. It is a glass cannon unit. If you use it behind sight blockers, you can make real good use of it. So it is situational, I guess. Okay, so I mean, I've got to talk about the rubber band effects of coming to Heroes 2. You can wipe a few squads down, but what happens when you wipe squads? Your opponent's manpower income increases, doesn't it? So
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's the whole kind of comeback feature of the game, is that if you are on the back foot, you are kind of rewarded with enough, or an extra boost to your manpower to field more units again. And in some cases, you know, that it doesn't always work out as a bad thing, because you can respec for exactly you know, what your opponent has. You know, and that's the best thing about it, really, is that, you know, you can learn from the last mistakes, don't go for the same build, and refresh your army with what it needs to be.
And if you don't take advantage of it, if you don't go for the jugular, when you've claimed a few squad wipes, you can find yourself in a difficult predicament. Here we go, we got the Schwerpanzer headquarters opening up on the shock troopers, killing them. 4 men killed there, quite a hefty defeat. Talisman's also pushing into the centre with his Fallshims, trying to get some victory points capped. What are you expecting from Schwer? He got an orbital soldat on first, but where?
I
Which
just
vehicle?
don't even want to comment on it.
Oh right, I see. Because he'll probably do the exact opposite. Like you'll say
He's probably-
Panzer IV yacht, and then he'll get the Jagdpanzer.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I would expect to see. I don't know. I mean, the Panzer IV would be a nice one right now. They're both on 6 CPs, so they don't have to worry about later game units just yet. You know, it would be a nice one to counter the infantry in the half track that's on the field. You know, Panther is you know, not going to do well against everything. You wouldn't build a Panther just to deal with the AA half track there. But he's probably going to build one anyway.
Combat unit ready.
The Talisman is an unpredictable player. That's why he knocked Helping Hands out of a tournament semi-final. Last semi-final we saw him in. Or we personally cast him like in, basically. And he may have been to one since. Oh, demo!
Oh yeah, demo. He's gonna have to blow his own guys up to get that.
Oh, there you go.
That was
and
nice.
Had a Blencorp grenade go off there and push away the. But here comes that unit that Dan and I have spoken about quite a lot. The M5 quad mounts, the Kraut mower.
You notice, by the way, there's literally no fixed AT options from Talisman at all. All of his ATs are very reliant on just, you know, the Shreks. And again, the AA half-track could have had a really, really good time here, just pinning them down at a long range and then going in with the infantry. But Alastor, he just seems like he's missing a lot of opportunities. You know, he's had some great opportunities in this game, whereas Tech has probably been able to put holes in Talisman's. And the chances haven't been taken. You take a look at the building on the right-hand side, by the way, and the MG isn't facing the right position either.
No.
Wouldn't be any good when that comes in.
I see that, yeah. And there you go, 2 ISGs firing at a house, barely any damage done. It's it takes a long time for them to really make an effect there. this divisional field gun, opening up with his light artillery barrage. Great ability for 60 munitions. Destroy.
Backtaking to tier 1, by the way, for Alastor.
Okay, that's interesting. Right. I wonder what that's for. Maybe a sniper. Pick off against those old Obers, the Fallschirmjägers, the expensive OKW units. So Aerohank just said in chat, by the way, Fahu was complaining about a map hacker while streaming 1 versus 1 earlier. Can you see the problem? Yeah, I know, pretty much. That's why I just laughed at. I saw it in chat. It's like, yeah, that's quite funny. So yeah, God, this game really could go either way. I mean, Talisman we thought was in the ascendancy, but he's given Alastor a chance to get back in this, and he has done so. He's happily obliged. He's got the sniper coming out as well, so interesting choice. Obviously, he's going to be waiting for his late game call-in tanks to. Oh God, we've got Panzer Stretch going in against the M5. Will it get him find the bonus road?
It looks like he's starting to get the right idea now, you know, trying to suppress and then move him with the shocks. But again, you know, he's not being able to get the benefit from the A half-track at all at the moment. You know, Talisman's just getting stronger and stronger. Yes, he's actually building the Panzer IV. The first thing I've been able to predict from him in this game. I think that's a sensible decision, though.
Ooh, big Shrek goes on the M5 there. We've got incendiary artillery hearkening the call of the IS-2 in about 10 minutes' time. There you go in the centre. MG34 just getting out of the garrison. He's jumping straight back in there. Sniper opened up against the Obersoldaten, by the way, Dan, so the Obersoldaten have to go back to base.
This is so dangerous. I mean, look where the sniper is. The Fallschirmjäger could just get it instantly. I don't know why, you know, this unit, I mean, I can see why he wants it to come out onto the field. It's going to be good against the Fallschirmjäger and things like that. Also, we know it's a heavy manpower army for Talisman, so putting the manpower bleed on could prevent late game tech from coming in, but of course Talisman's well ahead of it. Sniper coming out 19 minutes into the game, you're not going to get that kind of benefit from having the sniper out you'd normally expect, which is to have a great manpower bleed in the mid game onwards. Bringing it out now is going to be a lot of maintenance to get, you know...
Again, it's one of those situational decisions, and Dan is right, but, you know, we could be here in 20 minutes' time hearkening the Soviet scout sniper team with its 50 kills, who knows. But it's very unlikely, and it's a very situational thing to have done. To me, it spells out that he's going to be waiting for call-in tanks, though. He's getting mines up, by the way, Dan. That'll help.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice to see him building mines there. Give him a little bit of an advantage from a strong push from Talisman. I don't know, I think Talisman probably will be on top of that, to be honest.
Does Aerohank do casting? Do I know that name?
Oh, Panzer IV! Oh, looked like it was going forward over those mines then.
You got so excited over something I already had on my camera, I thought something major was happening.
Sorry.
Were you mid-yawn and it made your OO
yeah,
a bit? That's why your OO sounded so excited. I'm with you. Right, okay.
It's like trying to struggle with that and the yawn at the same time.
He shouldn't have been drinking so much last night. Here we go, we've got M5 opening up against the Obersoldaten, killing them in their garrison, so there's the power of the M5 quad mount there. KV8.
I gotta say, just one more time again, ISG is doing such good work here at the moment. Every time there's a static position, just look at these, raining down, and it's not so much as you say about the kills that they're getting, because the kills aren't massively great, but it's just putting extra pressure on positioning, constantly harassing the sniper. You know, support weapons are constantly forced to move. It's just nice play.
Dan, I see what he's doing here. He's trying to converge on the M5. He's trying to take it out. He's got 2 Panzer Grenadiers deep within enemy territory, but here comes the KV8. That's going to push it away sooner rather than later, and big retreat is caused. He's actually causing pathing issues right now by blocking its road home. They might get pushed onto, is there a mine on that road? No, there isn't, but the Volksgrenadiers are going to have to get pushed along there. Here come the Mosin-Nagants to try and pick them off on retreat.
Wow, this could be a really good play from Alastor if he keeps it up. Needs to focus fire that squad though. Does not want to let those those Volksgrenadiers get away. One more shot. Doesn't manage to get the shot, unfortunately. And here we go. We're starting to see that hole in Talisman's army, of course, where he doesn't have many AT options available to him.
He does not. He does have a lot of fuel. He, of course, has 1 Panzer IV, but he's going to need another.
Alastor may be overextending here, though. I think he may be getting a little bit too egocentric after having a good push. So only going to take 1 decent push from the Panzer IV to get around him here.
There you go, big penetration in from the Panzer IV, pushing away the KV8. So the quad mount down, it's got 7 kills now, it's got veterancy 2, it's not doing too badly. Alright, the Maxim, stolen Maxim might I say, pushing away conscripts there. The sniper scout team's going to have to open up. Got a lot of work to do, that scout team, to make a name for itself and to prove me and Dan wrong.
The enemy has 300 points remaining. Supply sector under attack.
Sniper's on 7 kills at the moment, so might get there.
Might get there one day.
Gonna
If
at
this
least
game
claim a Maxim, I think.
really? Oh god, yes, if the conscripts can become unsuppressed. No, the Maxim... Oh god, they just about get a shot away. Or was that the sniper itself? May well have been.
Yes, it was.
Okay. So, he's getting up to 200 and odd fuel soon, which should be enough to get a Panther out. Looks like the MG34 is in a difficult situation.
What did the shock...
They threw the wrong grenade, clearly.
He would have got the wipe. That's really unfortunate. Yeah, I would put that down to perhaps the wrong misclick there. So close to wiping that.
Really was. Got Thosmigas versus Shock Trooper hype. Looks like the MG34 is going to make the situation fall against him. Blend Corporal goes in. Grenade misses. Oh dear. Not very good from the Shock Troopers there. Alastor needs to get back on it.
That was very unfortunate.
You know what we may be experiencing in this game, Dan? Alastor, I've not seen him in many tournament semi-finals. I've seen Talisman get there, though. So the endurance of Talisman may really come to bear on Alastor the longer this game goes.
Definitely, but I equally think that Talisman's having problems here. I mean, he hasn't been... It seems to be that he always deals with the situations well, but he doesn't just provide those aggressive pushes that you'd expect to see win games and take mass territory back. Kind of just allowing Alastor to take bits of territory away from him and then just dealing with whatever Alastor puts onto it. I think, it almost seems like Alastor keeps tripping himself up at certain stages.
Got this just in from Devem. Devem has now had cucumber slices put on his eyes as he's been massaged. He has gone to a spa in the time it's taken for Alastor and Talisman to have their semi-final, because I'm basically saying he's very rested and ready at Devem. As this is every minute this game goes on, it's working to his advantage. He's going to be very fresh come the final.
Actually. By the way, for North Weapon, the Blend Copper is the smoke grenade that the Farashimieger and Orbisoldaten can throw. A bit like the USF Phosphorus.
You learn something every day when it's almost an AE casting. So we're not just winging it anymore, are we, Dan? Because we both learned something as well. We started the ESL casting. We did know about the game a lot, but our knowledge has been massively honed, hasn't it? I feel like I know a lot now, hell of a lot. Oh god, we just had combat engineers with the flamethrower go down. It looks like we're having 3 Fallschirmjägers fall from the sky because he's just utilised the 250 munition ability to get some paratroopers straight into the fire of the KV-8 though. Maybe not. What the hell is it doing?
I'm not really sure at the moment. Wants to be a little bit careful about going in. Of course, Fallschirmjäger have access to the Panzerfaust, which I think they're going in to do at the moment. Yep, Panzerfaust has just been put on.
The ZIS divisional field gun will push away the Panzer IV and stop it probing there.
Oh, well, Alastor's about to come onto the IS-2, by the way.
Ooh, it's got enough manpower, and more than enough fuel.
I think he maybe, he's clearly just waited the entire game for that, but if you look at his resources, he could have afforded, another mid-game vehicle. That's kind of where players like this go wrong at this level, because by not having those medium vehicles out, allowing him to take map control, obviously his resources have suffered, and it's kind of like a landslide after that.
Very odd,
he really did just build the AA half-track. The KV-8 came from off-map, which is fair enough, really, but...
Just consider this, Dan. I mean,
medium game needed another unit, I felt, from tier 3.
I agree. T70 basically. He missed it sorely in this game. I mean, this game's still going on. It's either player's game, especially when the IS-2 is coming out. But look at this, a Jagdpanzer IV from Talisman. What a great unit to field against an IS-2.
Doesn't look like it can come on the field though. In fact,
No.
this is going to be a problem because obviously he's got to lose units to do that. Now, if it comes to the situation where he loses models and the unit comes on the field, he's not going to be able to reinforce a number of squads then.
I'm going to be honest, that Fallschirmjäger that's now retreating, he needed it to die, and that's a crazy situation to find yourself in. Comes the Ice 2 might oblige on this Vet 2 Fallschirmjäger. Not that the Vet matters. Oh, he's got it out, but as Dan says, I mean, we've got Fallschirmjägers in base, they're not going to be able to come out onto the field for a long time now. In the north, it's an engagement between shock troopers, Olbersoldat, and then Volksgrenadiers. I do not fancy the shock troopers' chances. We'll see them retreat in a short time. Looks like the Jagdpanzer is going to come to bear on the IS-2. Keep an eye on the shock troopers. They're on 3 men. They did retreat. Here we go. The IS-2's got a rude awakening on the battlefield now. It's up against the Panzer IV and the Jagdpanzer.
Panzer IV is really doing absolutely nothing. It's contributing barely any hits to the IS-2. Yeah, Panzer IV at least is going to be good protection for that. I'm still confused though. I mean, why not the Panther in this situation?
It's got better penetration, I suppose. So the Panther can't go toe-to-toe with the IS-2 and win every time. The Jagdpanzer can. Like frontal armor facing frontal armor. Especially with the range involved.
Yeah, it's just a difficult one because, I mean, you know, it depends how you want to approach the situation, I guess, but there's a side to it where obviously you can drive around the turret of the IS-2 quicker with the Panther.
Okay, I agree, but
to get flanked with the... I mean, there's no protection from the Panzer IV. If that IS-2 decides it wants to just dive in and go around the Jagdpanzer IV, it will be able to.
But then it'll come up against the Shreks than the Panzer IV. So it's all dependent on the situation, I guess. Also, you've got to consider the Panther's 2 more pop caps, so there is that element as well. Here we go. Could be fruition to Dan's proposition. Looks like the KV-8.
Yeah, difficult one. You'll notice, by the way, Alastor back onto 2 VPs. Looks like he's getting decent map control back.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Fortunately, you know, the one thing that works in his favour a little bit is that you know, Talisman has really nothing to spend his munitions on apart from for the fatherland. I mean, I don't think we've seen. Sorry, it's Valiant Assault in this current. Sorry, I was so used to using Sector Assault and Overwatch. I mean, we haven't seen this flicked on yet, but it would probably be the time to use it. He's got nothing else he can really spend it on right now.
Well, the IS-2's getting shot at by the Jagdpanzer, and it will attain veterancy quickly, hitting that big Russian tank there. It's a very tepid affair right now. I mean, Alastor's a little bit further behind on army value, but there's the Jagdpanzer for you, Dan. Max range shooting, penetrating every time on the IS-2. It is a brutal unit to come to bear when the Soviets have their heavy tanks on the field. Rear armor showing, will the Jagdpanzer find it? Yes, it will. Not much remaining. Here comes the Panzer IV as well, Dan. This IS-2 is a goner.
Yeah, that's got to go down to this, surely. Great pushes from Talisman, really waited it out for that.
Oh!
Panzer IV could be the hero unit of the game if it gets the kill. Woohoo!
It does indeed. Massive kill from the Jagdpanzer. So that there, Dan, is why you build the Jagdpanzer sometimes. They're really good at countering heavy tanks.
Yeah, I'm still kind of half and half as to there may have been a way that Alastor could have got the advantage in that engagement. But yeah, you know, as I say, it didn't happen. That's the most important result at the end of all of this.
All KV-8 rushing up against the Volksgrenadier with the Shreks in the house, pushing them away. So at least Alastor's keeping a hang of the victory point situation. And also, Dan, he's got 180 fuel in climbing, so he will be able to get a second IS-2 if his heart desires it. I'd advise him against it, though.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to think quite carefully about where he goes from here.
Because he knows that Jagdpanzer's got veterancy, he knows the Panzer IV is getting veterancy, so it's a difficult situation.
Yeah, well, again, I think, you know, this is the opportunity that maybe Alastor missed in the last game as well. Good opportunity to get into the game again and make a good push, and he actually had, you know, an advantage. It's twice in this game I think he's missed out on that.
Oh, look at that Jagdpanzer, Dan. It's absolutely brutal against the Soviet heavy armor, pushing the KV-8 away in 2 hits.
I mean, obviously Vet 3 is when this thing really becomes that killing machine.
Ah, yes, that's when the prisoners of war, that former artists, get out and start painting the scenery behind it. It makes it effectively invisible. It's really cool how they do that.
Yeah, of course, it doesn't gain access to a very, very big increase to its rate of fire.
When does it get that incredible? Yeah, it's got the.
It's Vet 3. You do get, was it durability and sightings on 2? Yeah, so Vet 3 is the increased rate of fire. At that point, it's really, you know, really difficult to deal with.
God, it really is. You can make so many wombo combos with it as well. I mean, its first shot ability is brutal when it attains veterancy, and if it's got auras such as the Panther command tank as well, yeah, it becomes a killing machine. A little bit quiet here. Alastor's probing the situation. His next decision is a big one, as Dan has rightly mentioned. Oh, brutal shot from the Panzer IV. It's like Schumann wasn't being able to complete it against the shock troopers, so it's STGs versus PPSHs, and PPSHs win. Look at the pop cap differences, Dan. Alastor's down to 55. Talisman's on nearly 100.
Yeah, it's crazy. Again, Talisman doesn't really make those mistakes, and Alastor just kind of does. And it's just starting to add up, really, isn't it, over time? Alastor seems to be quite focused on getting VPs back as well. I get the feeling that that's giving him some squad losses and so forth, because he's obviously trying to put a lot of effort and making sure he can stay into this game long enough to give him a chance to build up and fight back. It's, yeah,
every
I still
moment.
think he's probably going to have one more chance at getting back in this game before his fate is sealed.
I mean, you've got to consider as well, I mean, okay, so Alastor still is in this. His fate is not sealed in this particular game yet. But in the meta, I mean, Talisman looks likely to go through. He's already a game up. Every second that Alastor maintains, holds out against Talisman, it works in DevM's favour. So there's that aspect as well. Oh, here we go. We've got a big push, though, from Alastor. Incendiary artillery goes in on the ISG and also the Focus Grenadier. You've got the MG34 being pushed away. The conscript's also pushing in. And here comes the KV-8.
That's really going in deep, though. Of course, the Jagdpanzer IV has got great sight on that at the moment.
Sniper Dan, by the way, is on 25 kills, so more than paid for itself. It's not worked out bad in the end, has it?
No, he's done well with that, actually. He's delivered the surprise that we were kind of hoping for.
That's not often you see it, and we did see it indeed. Got a second Zis coming out as well for Alastor, so he could have saved up for the Ice 2. He's gone for a second Zis instead. I think that's wise. I mean, Zis gun's very good against the Jagdpanzers.
But these ISGs, 19 kills, 15 kills respectively.
What?
So, not huge, but they have been doing good work.
Yeah, that's really good actually for an ISG. Well, two of them, in fact. Here we go. The Zis gun's opening up against the Panzer IV. Looks like the Maxim lost his vet and was extinguished there.
Okay, you know, we do still have a really good composition from Alastor here. If he can get the IS-2 out again, he's got the quad cal for suppression of the infantry, so he doesn't have to worry too much about that. 80 gun for support, he could roll in with that against the Jagdpanzer IV. IS-2 can dive in deep, and then obviously any remaining squads under suppression could be flamed down by the KV-8. But again, you know, this Talisman's just got a super weapon now.
Watch this Jagdpanzer, this Wehrmacht super weapon. It's going to try and find. Let's get Fog of War on. We need to see this. No, it didn't quite find it. It was so close, Dan. The vision range was so close to finding it. It was unreal. What a spell. Imminent disaster for Alastor's forces. Here we go, another incendiary barrage. This time... Oh yeah, on the central victory point. Yeah, Talisman's tightening the noose. Every time Alastor pushes in, he seems to have answers to every question posed to him by the angry Russian.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, he doesn't overextend ever. I think that's one thing that's, you know, at this rate, we're probably looking at DevM Talisman in the finals, right? And,
Yes.
starting to assess basically how Talisman will be able to perform against DevM. And, you know, Talisman, he just doesn't overextend, ever, really. You know, I get the feeling that he hasn't made any mistakes purely based on that. You know, he's also one of these players as well, I noticed, that seems to be around his own base territories a lot. You know, he's never really outside of that unless he needs to be, which is good because, you know, that's exactly where DevM goes for the assaults. Yeah, so if you can get that good defense up there, we may be in for a good final game between those two.
It really must mean it must be. I mean, I'm going to point it out so many times that Talisman beat Helping Hands in that big set tournament game. Look at this, ISG finding the repairing engineers. Not great from Alastor. They should have recognised that sooner. But yes, Talisman beat Helping Hands in a big semi-final, and obviously Helping Hands has beaten DevM lots of times in scrims. So you know, paper cuts. Sorry, covers rock and scissors cut paper, etc., etc.
By the way, those ISGs are really starting to fire up now that they've got a bit of veterancy on them. 20 kills on each now.
Wow, and they won't have lost many models, so it's got all their bonuses still applied. Oh, mine goes off and hits the Zisgun. You don't see that very often, Dan.
The mine placement for that was really strange as well, because what he'd done is actually built a mine just behind his Panzer IV. I thought it was really strange because obviously any kind of trigger of that mine would have blown his Panzer IV up.
Oh, here we go. We've got a big push from the medium armor. By the way, Dan, do you know the sniper team? 37 kills now. That climbed quickly.
Wow, yeah, he's done a really good job actually to get the sniper up to that amount of kills.
Wow.
But yeah, Talisman's still floating 900 manpower, 456 fuel, 200 munitions. You know, whatever Alastor does here, he's got a lot of time against him because he's obviously struggling for the VPs. Talisman has got loads of time to recover, loads of resources to recover. I can't really see how it could possibly go wrong.
Look at the south, Dan. You've got a team of elite infantry, all with 2 men on each squad because he's pop capped. So it's like a 6-man, very strange, hyper DPS, very glass cannon orientated squad. Sniper continuing to pick off 39 kills and counting. We've also just had Valiant Assault called, which means he's going to be able to push in with the Shreks. Have we got any medium armor in the vicinity? No, they're not pushing in unison, so a bit of a missed opportunity there. Won't be missed if he manages to Shrek down the KV-8 though. Oh, here you go. Now you're talking. It's all about the... Let's get some Fog of War on the go, see what this Jagdpanzer can see. All about what the Jagdpanzer can see. ISG's opening up, they've pushed up a little bit. Oh, big kills in on the conscripts and the Zisgun. This is situation critical for Alastor. He's got to defend this. He's doing so with anti-tank grenades and the Zis fire.
I've got to say that Panzer IV is really starting to smash it against the infantry right now. 44 kills on that.
Oh, is that playback? Oh, Alastor has quit. He's dropped from the game, seemingly. And there you go. I think he had every right to quit in that situation, Dan. What would you say?
Yeah, definitely. He played a good game there. And again, you know, he's one of those players, he constantly was giving himself opportunities where he was coming back onto the field. And it's just like he couldn't mobilize well enough to get past Talisman. Talisman's just kind of sat back, let him do what he wants, and then just won the engagements when they happen. Which is a really nice playstyle, to be honest. It's obviously a longer game, but yeah, it's really good. If you know you're going to beat your opponent in most of the engagements that you have.